Race and education is addressed. Book. The Nottingham Connection provides first-hand experience of one inner-city school, Cottesmore Secondary Modern, compared with Margaret Glen Bott in the suburbs of Woollerton. See pages 12 to 19, where Olga was one of 5 black girls out of a class of 40 at Cottesmore. Black girls had to be tough to survive the racism of both teachers and students. She says, taunts of nigger, gallywog, and black bastards were hurled at us inside and outside of the classroom. When it came to sitting for the GCE exams, not one of us was allowed to join the GCE group, despite the fact that there was one clear example where Olga actually came first in English, geography, and religious education. She says, the education so many of us received in Nottingham at that time failed us. On the contrary, Councillor Eunice Campbell, pages 101 to 112, had a somewhat easier time at Margaret Glen Bott, in the sense that she succeeded in actually getting herself included in the GCE group. Some of my teachers were somewhat kinder, she says. A great pleasure in introducing to you the author of this book, Jamaicans in Nottingham, who's none other than Norma Gregory. Now, Norma Gregory, her parents are expatriates of Jamaica. She was born here. Now, the beauty of this book, the first thing I'd like to say about it, pictures, 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 right the way through the pages. Whereas you'd say, well, with the Nottingham Connection, Lee Arborn says it in words, but Norma says it in pictures. George Lee, George Powell, Eric Irons, Junior Forbes, Councillor Tony Robinson, Tony Brown, Councillor Ronald McIntosh, Lyndall Zean, Veronica Barnes, Councillor Eunice Campbell, Bob Wallace, John Ray, Milton Crosdale, Victoria Morse, Dr. Ainsley Dear, Dr. Des Wilson Former, Lord Mayor of Nottingham. Further acknowledgements within the pages of Norma's book are as follows. Councillor Merlita Bryan, former Lord Mayor, Reverend Canon Eve Pitts, Lisa Robinhood, Director of Bright Ideas, Len Garrison, former Director of the ACFF in Hyson Green, and Dr. Rose Thompson. Race and education is addressed. The Nottingham Connection provides first-hand experience of one inner-city school, Cottesmore Secondary Modern, compared with Margaret Glen Bott in the suburbs of Woollerton. See pages 12 to 19, where Olga was one of 5 black girls out of a class of 40 at Cottesmore. Black girls had to be tough to survive the racism of both teachers and students. She says, taunts of nigger, gallywog, and black bastards were hurled at us inside and outside of the classroom. When it came to sitting for the GCE exams, not one of us was allowed to join the GCE group, despite the fact that there was one clear example where Olga actually came first in English, geography, and religious education. She says, the education so many of us received in Nottingham at that time failed us. On the contrary, Councillor Eunice Campbell, pages 101 to 112, had a somewhat easier time at Margaret Glenbott, in the sense that she succeeded in actually getting herself included in the GCE group. Some of my teachers were somewhat kinder, she says. I give thanks for the fact that the Nottingham Connection is part and parcel of an author who has lived in Nottingham for over 50 years. She came here as an expatriate of Jamaica 1 year after the famous 1958 race riots. So she had a chance to go right the way through the education system. In any case, she had already been a secondary education advocate, a success story in Jamaica before she came here. But coming to this country, she has reached, you'd say, the topmost strata of that educational field. She was honoured the Council House a few years back. And I'm thinking, for those who continue to contribute to blossoming organisations. The UKD, Community Link Saturday School Project, the Acacia Court for West Indian Senior Citizens, the Nottingham West Indian Students Association, not forgetting the Sheffield Multiracial Educational Project. This author is an icon to the community of Nottingham. I'd like to give thanks to all of these contributors. And I am hoping that as they continue to contribute, write books, they will interpolate and encourage you, the reader, to come forward, stand up, and be counted, so that at long last, at the end of your days, when you are challenged as to how you've utilized your skills, you will be able to say, yes, I have made this. Last thoughts, as one might say. Now, see, when it comes to education and the child, for instance, and the fight for justice in the face of racism, Olga Thompson, from out of the pages of the Nottingham Connection, will turn up to the school to have it out with the teacher and so forth. Now, looking further on afield, sometimes it takes somebody like Lisa Robin Hood, the local director of Bright Ideas, to say in the pages of Norma Gregory's book, "Come, let us go for a Slave Legacies educational tour of Newstead Abbey." or some such place for a few hours, just to try and focus on the massive contribution that we and our ancestors have made under enslaved conditions. Finally, on educational issues, the Councillor Eunice Campbell's of this world, in the eyes of the 1980s, when there were no Jamaican women in the city chamber of local government, we're actually learning something about the history of local representation and opportunities for providing a voice in all these things. We give thanks. The Nottingham Connection is published by Author House Publications UK and is available at amazon.co.uk, both in paperback for $12.99 and Kindle edition for $3.99. The Nottingham Connection, as you've already heard, is 300 pages. Now, the Jamaicans in Nottingham Narratives and Reflections is published by Hansib Publications. Price $14.99, paperback A4 size. Available from hansibpublications.com and local community centres and such outlets within Nottingham. Thank you.